So I want to do a quick video here discussing the future of Roman Reigns in WWE and kind of give my thoughts on, what could be going on, And the question is WWE phasing Roman Reigns out? Have they decided to go with Drew McIntyre as the next guy? Obviously, right now, Drew is the champion. He beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, something that Roman Reigns has not been able to do at WrestleMania, despite having two chances. Drew did it impressively. Unfortunately for Drew, he's kind of in this spot where he's the champion in an era where ratings are declining because of COVID-19 and where there's no attendance. So I worry WWE will eventually give up on him because Vince McMahon tends to do that with some guys. But Roman Reigns is one guy who he did not give up on. But is he giving up on him now? Now, let's talk about what's going on. So Roman Reigns was originally booked to wrestle Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, and then plans changed, and it was supposed to be Roman Reigns against Goldberg for the Universal title, the SmackDown title at WrestleMania, with Roman Reigns beating Goldberg and becoming the champion and getting coronated again, which we've seen so many times in previous years at WrestleMania. So what wound up happening was shortly before WrestleMania, Roman Reigns pulled out of the match because Roman Reigns had leukemia, and, he has an immunodeficiency, and thus his immune system is possibly at risk if he gets COVID-19 to where he could possibly die. Now, Roman Reigns, throughout his career, has made a lot of money with WWE. So much money that, from what I understand, he never has to wrestle again if he doesn't want to. He's got enough money saved up. His family supports him, which are the Samoans. The guy doesn't have to work ever again. So I don't know about him never coming back. That's not what I'm saying here. I actually respect the fact that he thought about his own family and his daughter and his wife and his, people who he cares about most to pull out of the match with Goldberg at WrestleMania. I respect that. It's the safe thing to do. Life is more important than a wrestling show. But the problem is that somebody like Vince McMahon, and this is not from my brain. This is from other people who have worked with Vince McMahon, like Bruce Pritchard, Jim Cornette, even Jim Ross. Vince can be a very petty son of a bitch. Very petty. And even though Vince McMahon has taken measures to not do shows with fans in them, he did it kicking and screaming. The WWE and Vince McMahon live under a very strange pseudo-reality where things don't apparently affect him the way that they do other people. This guy has lived in his own bubble for a very long time. So he may not understand why Roman Reigns did what he did. He may think that Roman Reigns, and this is something that Cornette talked about, he may think that Roman Reigns is leaving him, abandoning him, bailing out on the show he was advertised for, being the face of the company for the past, 5 years or so. Maybe even longer than that, 6 years. And he might feel like Roman Reigns deserves to be punished. Recently on Raw, there was a clip from WrestleMania 31 where they edited out Roman Reigns from the match. And I thought that was very unusual, very petty. Now, something else people should be aware of is the fact that Roman Reigns is 35 years old, and Vince typically in the past has given up on guys when they turn 40. When guys turn 40, he tends to devalue them and de-push them. Not all the time, but he's done it in the past. So, because of that, Roman Reigns himself, I believe in an interview, said that he doesn't plan on being in the business for much longer. Maybe another 5-6 years and he's going to retire. So, with the fact that right now, as of this recording on June 17th, 2020, there is no COVID-19 vaccine that's out there. The virus is still running rampant. People are still getting sick from it. Roman Reigns might not come back until after the vaccine. And some have said the vaccine's not going to even happen until later in 2021. The discussion amongst the doctors is possibly sooner, hopefully sooner, but the vaccine may not be available until late 2021, a year and a half, maybe summer of 2021. And because of that, we might not see Roman Reigns back until then. He might not do the Royal Rumble. He might not do WrestleMania. Or we may not see him back at all. The idea of WWE phasing out Roman Reigns is a very likely possibility. Because like I said, Vince can be very bitter He lives in a bubble. I mean, look what he did with the XFL. Like, he bankrupted his own company so he can buy back the assets cheap. Like, that's just dirty business shit. And so with Roman Reigns, I feel like even though they literally gave this guy the keys to the kingdom, they pushed this guy as like the new guy. They might feel like, okay, this is how he repays us by not doing WrestleMania, even though he's doing it for very good reasons. Now, they'll publicly say, oh, we respect his decision. We understand their health concerns. That's all PR bullshit. We don't know what's inside Vince McMahon's head. The only people that know are the ones that have worked with him, which is why I trust guys like Bruce Pritchard, Cornette, and other guys like that. Because when they say things, they have more credibility than the WWE PR statement that's public. You know what I mean? I trust that more. So it's definitely possible that they're going to phase out Roman Reigns, not make him the guy anymore, if he comes back, not give him that monster push they were going to give him, and instead give it to Drew McIntyre or to somebody else who they think might deserve it more, somebody who they think is not going to bail on them, from their perspective. Now, I obviously think that what Roman Reigns did was the right thing to do. You have to think about your family above all, but again, that's not how WWE thinks. So if they do phase Roman Reigns out, it could be a thing where he comes back, works the mid-card for a couple more years, and then just retires, or maybe he won't come back at all. I mean, there is a possibility, like it or not, that he may never come back. Or at least if he does come back, maybe as a part-time guy, maybe 1 or 2 WrestleManias here and there, and then that's it, and not work that full WWE schedule. Especially since, even when the vaccine is out, how many people are actually going to get vaccinated? How many people are actually going to be, fans that he can't even touch? Or he has to be extra careful. There's a lot of problems with this, this COVID thing. And so there is a strong possibility that he is getting phased out and that they're going to put their rocket on somebody else. Now, I want to know what you think in the comment section. Do you think that this is the end of Roman Reigns? Do you think that Roman Reigns as a top guy, as the guy who they've been pushing, is that over? Now, I know a lot of folks wanted it to be over because WWE shoved them down our throats, but you have to be careful because they can do the same thing with other guys too, like Drew and other guys. They've been booking Drew pretty good so far, I think. Not perfect, but better than Roman Reigns. But with Roman Reigns, they really screwed up with him because they just kept shoving him down people's throats, and that's why the fans turned on him. When he came back from the leukemia, all the fans got back behind him again because it was real. Because it was real. That's a very real story, and a lot of the fans of wrestling, believe it or not, understand that when a guy goes through something like that, when a guy goes through an actual, possibly life-threatening disease and survives it, that's a story we can all relate to. Some of us have had family members die from cancer, and he's fighting through it for his family. So they got back with him again. But did the crowds really super cheer for him like they wanted him to? Some crowds did, some crowds didn't. I don't know if Roman Reigns ever really was the guy. They tried to make him the guy, but I don't know if he really was the guy. You know what I mean? I think he was a hard worker, really hard worker. He did have great matches. No matter which way you slice it, he did. He's had great matches with a lot of different people. He does have an aura and a presence about him, and he does have charisma. I feel like his charisma was more shown when he was doing talk shows, like his natural charisma, like, like Joe Anoa'i. You know what I mean? Not Roman Reigns. Joe Anoa'i. Joseph Anoa'i, the real guy. Like, I feel like that guy has charisma more than the character Roman Reigns. But none of that matters if the company gives up on you. So let me know in the comments if you think Roman Reigns is no longer going to be the top guy. If you think that because of COVID and Vince McMahon's pettiness, he's not going to ever get pushed again. Or do you think they're going to try once again with him again? I just feel like now that he's 35 and already says he's going to be done in a few years, I feel like that's not going to register well with some of the guys in the company. But who knows? And who even knows how long they'll even stay with this current regime and with like this mentality. I don't think Vince McMahon has matured because you can tell by the way he books guys now and the way he's too reactive to everything. But hopefully he'll understand, but there's no guarantee he will. So let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to reading your comments.